One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
A Lancaster County farmer was once again in court for violating food safety laws by selling raw milk without a permit. Fox 43's Matt Kleindens has the latest from the courthouse.
They're coming after each and every one of us.
Hundreds of people lined the sidewalks outside of the Lancaster County Courthouse as Amos Miller faced a preliminary injunction hearing. The Amish farmer was forced to stop selling raw milk in January. State investigators have been aware of Miller selling raw milk since 2016. However, they say he has repeatedly refused to get a permit to sell it. People who came out in support of Miller were vocal about what they say is government overreach.
We need to stand up and say, hands off. Hands off. Government has no business in this private association.
Miller's lead attorney, Robert Barnes, argued to the judge that state inspectors were hiding test results from the public, saying there was no evidence of E. coli at the farm. Barnes also argued that forcing Miller to get a permit to sell raw milk and cheese would force him to stop making other products.
They interpret the raw milk permit as forfeiting your right to make yogurt, to make kefir, to make butter, to make cream, to make smoothies.
And we wouldn't know about it if it were not for Jeremy Lafredo, who works for Rebel News. He joins us tonight. Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on. This one story is kind of hard to believe. They're going after an Amish farmer. Who are they exactly?
All right, so first of all, happy Sunday. Hope today was great for you. I relaxed all day. I didn't jump into working. I just wanted to take a breath from everything. But what I wanted to show you, today's pre-show. If you've been with me before, I always do a pre-show prior to the rally. So today's pre-show, Trump is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, in the heart of Amish country. And so I wanted to give you guys a little background as to why the Amish are getting behind Trump so big. I mean, huge, like 99% behind Trump. Is because these people live a very, very simple existence. And basically, just leave us alone. Let us live. We're not bothering you. Just let us have our lives. I've driven through Amish country. I've visited there many times. It wasn't too far away from my campus. And the food is just like, oh my God, it tastes so fresh. Fresh meat, fresh produce. I wasn't into the raw milk, but some people were. All they want to do is live their lives. And the Biden administration decided they were going to step in, along with Monsanto, and tell these people, hey, you can't do what you do here because, we've got rules and regulations and this regulation and that regulation. And I'm like, hey, man, we've been here for hundreds of years. We don't need your regulations. We go out and milk the cow and we got milk. We grow our own livestock. We grow our own produce. Back off. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. So we're going to basically come after you because you're not doing what we want you to do.
We have the U.S. Marshal Service recently raided Amos Miller's organic and holistic farm, demanding he cease operations, and they charged him, as you said, with $300,000 of fines, economically crippling the man. And what's happening is you have the armed federal agents are demanding he stop food production because of the meat, and you have him saying, well, you know what, I want to keep farming. So you have this back and forth between the giant empire of the U.S. federal government and this tiny little farm in Birmingham, Pennsylvania.
Man, you're going to put a $300,000 fine on somebody who doesn't even use an automobile. That kind of heavy-handed government pisses people off. You just couldn't leave them alone, could you? And now remember, Pennsylvania, Joe won in 2020, and he only won it by, 30, 40,000 votes at midnight or 3 a.m. But now, you've got this entire army of Amish people who are like, yeah, we've had it. This guy Trump's going to leave us alone.
So they went after gyms, organic farmers, and churches. So maybe they're against anything that's wholesome and edifying that makes you stronger and healthier and in favor of everything that diminishes you and makes you more dependent. I'm just sensing a theme here. Do you see this?
Yeah, and another thing the community says is that they're coming after Amos to set an example. They're coming after an independent, successful farmer who takes out the government middlemen and provides food directly to his community and his people. Now, by taking out the middleman, by taking out the government, you're taking power away and taking leverage away from the government and putting that power and leverage in the hands of the community and the farmers and the people. And another thing I'll add is Amos's farm doesn't use any gasoline or any fertilizer. Now, as you know, these commodities have become very expensive because of Biden's policies in regards to the war in Ukraine and Russia. So Amos has completely eliminated.
Does that remind you, like, every time they're complaining about baby disposal and they put on it handmade, whatever, the garb? Look at the garb these little girls or women are wearing. They've got the bonnets, they've got the long robe-ish type things. They live that life. You're not looking to liberate them. You are interfering. You're the government. We're not here to help. We're here to ruin your lives.
Eliminated any risk coming from the international or domestic politics of the Biden administration, and they're coming after him for it.
Maybe if he promises to put more chemicals in the milk that turn kids, they'll lay off.
I think you know what he was talking about there, right? Yeah. I hope you got what he said.
Did any of the federal marshals decline to raid an Amish organic farm on principle, or did they all just go along with this? Do you know?
All I know is that many federal agents did not decline to go and did go along with it and raided the farm and took inventory of Amos's farm to make sure that he doesn't sell or produce any more meat.
We're for law enforcement, broadly speaking, but there's such a thing as conscience, okay? And they should not have gone along with this. When they tell you to raid an organic Amish farm, that's when you bow out, okay? I would say. And Jeremy, I appreciate your story that you did. It's shocking to believe it's real, but it is.
Yes. So
I believe it. It just keeps happening. If the Democrats get in power, they want to rule every part of your life, except baby removal. They want you to just be able to do that anytime you want. These are the same people who want to freely dispose of babies but they want to make sure you're not consuming too much raw milk. They want to make sure that, hey, I don't know, how you guys are slaughtering these cows, but you got to do something about that. Oh, your fruit, you haven't put pesticides on them. Somebody might eat it and stay healthy instead of eat it and catch some disease. Some of the most healthy people in the world come from Amish country because they're not susceptible to all the crap that we're fed. They've lived a simple existence. Why did the government have to bother them with regulation after regulation after regulation? Elon Musk, who they fear, is going to tell you about these regulations and why they just can't leave people alone.
I've had many conversations with President Trump, who is very much aligned in thinking that we need significant government reform. We need to get the government out of people's lives, really, and have America be the land of liberty, which is that is what has made America great, is the land of liberty and opportunity. So you maximize people's personal freedom, and we make sure that.
Can you imagine that would be a bad thing? To maximize people's personal freedom? Let them live their lives? How can that be a Democrat or Republican perspective? That should be everybody's perspective. Just let me live my life. Why are you getting in the way?
Getting ahead is a function of hard work and talent, and an honest day's work. That's really what should get people ahead, and that's the only thing. I got to.
So in this cut, he's going to tell you about just the idiotic regulations that they've put on him for, launching satellites and stuff.
A bunch of sort of nutty stories, some of them are, I guess, kind of funny. There's, we had to do this, SpaceX had to do the study to see if Starship would hit a shark. And I'm like, it's a big ocean, there's a lot of sharks. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. And I said, well, you have to, this is, I think, from National Marine Fisheries, one of the, NIMF it's called. They were like, well, you have to do the study on whether you can hit a shark. We're like, what? And then we said, okay, fine, we'll do the analysis. And then, well, can you give us the shark data? They're like, no, we can't give you the shark data. We're like, okay, well, then we're in a bit of a quandary. How do we solve this this shark probability issue? And they said, well, we could give it to our Western division, but we don't trust them. And I'm like, am I in a comedy sketch here? And they're worried about the shark density data, like the people who hunt sharks for shark fins somehow getting their hands on this shark data. And so eventually, I think we got the data, and we could run the analysis to say, like, yeah, the sharks are going to be fine. But they wouldn't let us proceed with launch until we did this crazy shark data, and then we thought, okay, now we're done. And they said, but what about whales? I'm like, when you look at a picture of the Pacific, what percentage of the surface area of the Pacific do you see as whale? Because look at a picture, I don't see any. It's like, where's the whale?
You can see why they hate this guy. Because somewhere they've hired these bureaucrats to work in these departments, and these departments have all kinds of authority to make you jump through hoops, say you can't serve raw milk, say you have to slaughter an animal a certain way, say you have to put pesticides on your food, say you have to let me know how your spaceship going into air for the benefit of all man is going to affect the sharks and whales. These people are absolute nuts. And thank God, there are people like Elon Musk who are ready to just basically shred that government.
And honestly, if the ship did hit a whale, it's like, honestly, that whale had it coming, because it's like the odds are so low. It's like Final Destination, the whale edition. It's like fate had it in for that whale, and so we have to do the whale analysis. And it's like, okay, yeah, the whales will be fine too, It goes on. And then there's like, well, what if the rocket goes underwater, then explodes, and then the whales have hearing damage? Like, this is real. This is actually, and we're like, look, if we could make a rocket go underwater and be a submarine, that would be like a feat of physics we could not accomplish, okay? This is not how it works. So anyway, just one like crazy thing after another where, you know, so this is why I'm like really feeling the pain of the overregulation.
Hey everybody, this is Scott.
All right, so overregulation and what we're talking about today, and Trump's going to be in Lancaster, he's going to be talking to the Amish people. These are people who haven't had much regulation until Biden decided to step on them. So a lot of people would ask me, why is he holding a rally in Lancaster of all places? Because that's an untouched market. That's another group of people who haven't historically voted. They just live their lives. And now they're coming out in droves, absolute droves. So some of you know who Scott Presler is. Listen to what Scott says about it.
Presler and Dill. Guys, we're here at the Green Dragon Farmers Market in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And something really cool has happened. Dill met this Amish businessman who is just very invested in saving the country. He knows a lot of people. And when Dill talked about the opportunity to register more voters, the businessman said, listen, you give us voter registrations, hundreds of them, he'll get them out. And guys, these are voter registration plus mail-in ballot applications. So this one action of Dill reaching out to this gentleman, courting him, talking to him, who knows, this could translate into hundreds, perhaps even more voter registrations. And there is a sense of urgency. The last day to register is on the 21st of October. And so I think we're at the right place at the right time, and we're about to go deliver these. So wish us luck. Bye.
Let's go.
Kamala Harris.
All right, so we're at the right place at the right time. The last day to register the vote is when? Tomorrow. Where's Trump today? Lancaster. I'm sure they're doing a huge registration drive. I'm like, y'all need to register. We know you probably haven't done this before, but we're going to show you exactly how to register. So if you saw what I wrote as my headline title there, it was about Christians having to unite. And I thought to myself, you know what? Today's Sunday. Let's go to church a little bit. I'm sorry for some of you guys who won't want to hear this, but we're going to go to church for like the next 5 minutes before Trump gets on stage. You see, the Amish are a very, very, very conservative group of Christians, which is why I believe they are being targeted. And I've just had it. I've had it with people targeting Christians. I've had it with what Kamala said on stage. There was a long interview on Fox and Friends this morning where those two kids who got basically thrown out of Kamala's rally, it was perfectly clear. She didn't make a mistake. She pointed those kids out and said, you need to go to another rally. She didn't want them there. So you, as a Christian, me as a Christian, you should have a big problem, and you should be supporting these Amish people, and you should be supporting all these Christians who are now being, seriously, she wants to oppress you. Molly Shannon put out some sort of tweet and said that Catholics are like a cancer on progressivism. Progressivism. A cancer. And then I had a Christian man say, well, she's not really wrong. And I'm like, dude, how can, and I'll never do this myself, but how is it that Christians are willing to call other Christians who, it makes no sense. How could you possibly see the platform that these people stand on and call yourself a Christian and vote for them? I don't know. But let's go to church and you'll hear from some people and hear what they have to say.
Holds a rally. And somebody in the crowd yells, Jesus is Lord. And Kamala Harris' response was, you at the wrong rally. Now listen to me. For all you believers out there and Christians that believe in the Lord and believe in the word, after hearing what came out this woman's mouth, if you still support this woman, the Bible talks about there's a place I prepared for you. Yeah. All you Democrat pastors that preaching to the congregation that they need to go down there November 5th and vote for Kamala Harris.
I don't understand the black churches. I just simply do not understand the black churches who call themselves men of the cloth, who are leading a flock of people and telling them, yes, go do this, vote for Kamala Harris. It makes absolutely no sense how these people can stand in a pulpit on Sunday and tell people to go support the people who drive the big blue bus that want to, facilitate baby removal.
Oh, God said, I have a place prepared for you. Yeah. You heard me? See, I've been trying to tell y'all for a long time, these people policies and the things that they stand behind is not God-like. These people don't love God. They don't care about Jesus. They don't love God at all. Everything they do and stand for is against God. That's why I don't understand why a lot of you folk that say y'all believe in God and y'all believe in the word and support this lady. How can you stand by somebody after saying what they said? Jesus is Lord, and she tell them they at the wrong rally, and y'all gonna take yourself down there and vote for this lady, and at the same time go to church on Sunday and be praising God.
Come on.
Make it make sense.
It can't.
Make that make sense.
Like I said, this might step on some people's toes today. I might see less views, but I don't care. It's Sunday, and this whole thing just riled me up. When I saw what they're doing to the Amish people, these simple people who don't bother anybody. You never see anything on television where 4 people were assaulted in that. No, they just live their lives. They don't even use electricity.
You're supposed to stand on business behind God's word. You know the times we're in right now. You know we're in Revelations right now. Y'all know, for all my people out there who know the word, y'all know what's going on right now is against good and evil. Y'all know what the business is. And you say you going out there and support this woman after what you just heard? Oh, Lord. Ooh, Lord. A lot of y'all going to hell with gasoline draws on. Ooh, Lord. A lot of y'all going to burn like Usher, baby, burn, you heard me. You better get on the right side, I'm trying to tell you.
So I do not believe that you can love the Lord, read your Bible, and call yourself a Christian and vote for Kamala Harris. If you can look at all the things that the left side stands for and say that it aligns with the Bible, then you need to rethink that because you are being lied to. If you can vote for someone who stands against God's word on abortion, on LGBTQ, on prayer in schools, and so much more, then I question if you truly know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
She's saying it. She's bringing it. People are going to have to answer for it.
And yes, I said that. If you get offended, then take it up with God because...
Exactly. Yes, I said it. I meant it. And you got a problem with it. Take it up with him. Love you, girl.
There is no question anymore between the two sides. At this point, it is good versus evil that we are voting for. This country is one nation under God, and as Christians, it is our obligation to help keep it.
You may not like Trump and agree with what Trump says or what he stands for, but I can't sit back and watch you if you call yourself a born-again believer and are not deeply offended by what Kamala Harris said yesterday at her rally. The fact that somebody said Jesus is Lord, because he is Lord, you guys. And the fact that Kamala said, oh, you're at the wrong rally, laughing. No, I'm deeply offended if you think that was okay. Because to mock Jesus Christ like Kamala did, that's not okay.
No, it's not okay. In fact, you're right. I am at the wrong rally. Thanks for letting me know. Let me dip out of here before the lightning comes. I don't want to be here when stuff descends on you. Because you're right. I would rather you tell me up front, hey, get out. I don't believe in that. Okay, thank you. I'm gone.
You're not okay. You're sick in the head if you think that that's okay. I want somebody who isn't going to be openly mocking the Lord. Kamala apparently is okay with mocking who Jesus is.
I think she made a huge mistake. Huge. Catastrophic. The polls can't catch it right now because it's too late. So after she did that, after she told those people, you're in the wrong rally, you need to go down the street. What she didn't think was going to happen, in addition to these people who you've seen thus far talk about it, an entire trend on TikTok was birthed. And people began singing and posting videos of them singing about Kamala Harris saying that blasphemous stuff. Check this out. It's Sunday, so we're going to go to church real quick here.
Jesus ain't welcome at Kamala's rallies. I said, Jesus ain't welcome at Kamala's rallies. Jesus ain't welcome at Kamala's rallies. Calling on MAGA to lift him up. Oh, 'cause he's welcome over here. He's welcome over here. He's welcome over here at MAGA. Oh, my Jesus. You are welcome over here. You are welcome over here at MAGA. Everybody sing. I said, Jesus. You are.
She didn't see that coming. The pollsters didn't see that coming. Obama didn't see that coming. None of those people who were working with her campaign saw any of this coming. And she has done something to basically help people on the right coalesce. We can wrap our arms around that. In addition to all the financial stuff, it's like, man, you just took a shot at the wrong dude. You just told Jesus he wasn't welcome in your rally. And you just pissed off everybody at this point. So I'm sure that, there might be some trolls in here and, say what you got to say. We don't care. But if you are a Democrat or an independent who now feel ostracized because of what you heard her say as they sang in that song, we got room for you over here, brother and sister. I'm not a pastor, but all I know is if you believe in God, today's Sunday, if you feel like you've been ostracized and told to take a walk this way. You're around us. We got you. That woman is evil. Her supporters are evil. And this no longer is about Democrat and Republican. This is about good and evil. And you're going to see some of that today. I'm pretty sure Trump's going to tell some of these Amish people, hey, listen, are you people tired of this stuff? You're tired of this over-regulation? It's true. It's absolutely true. So let me just check to make sure he's not coming on yet so I can continue with what I'm going with. So last night I went on late and there was some discrepancies and people were talking about what Elon Musk was doing and how the money was being, and one woman said she thought it was fake. And somebody texted me and said, I jumped on her. When I talk, I am very emphatic. I sometimes can be quite exuberant in what I say. But all I'm saying right now is, especially today on a Sunday, rejoice. Be happy. Stop worrying. If you don't know what worry means, go look up that in the Bible. Find out what worrying means in the Bible. Elon Musk, I told you last night after he gave $1 million away that the libnuts were going to go absolutely crazy. And I wasn't wrong. And now most of them were quiet today because it was hard for them to respond. But listen to what Josh Shapiro says here.
Governor, let me ask you about a development we learned about overnight. Elon Musk says he will be giving away $1 million every day to random voters who sign his super PAC's petition. You are a former attorney general. Is this legal?
I think there are... You heard the question, right? Just because I want you to listen for these 30 seconds here if you hear an answer.
Real questions with how he is spending money in this race, how the dark money is flowing, not just into Pennsylvania, but apparently now into the pockets of Pennsylvanians. That is deeply concerning. Look, Musk obviously
I bet it is, especially because you're in Pennsylvania.
Has a right to be able to express his views. He's made it very, very clear that he supports Donald Trump. I don't, obviously we have a difference of a...
Have you heard the answer to her question yet? Her question, just to remind you, was, is it legal?
Opinion. I don't deny him that right, but when you start flowing this kind of money into politics, I think it raises serious questions that folks may want to take a look at.
So you think it might not be legal, yes or no?
So I love how some of these reporters are now coming up and saying, enough with the filibustering. Can you tell me the answer to the question I asked you? Is it legal, yes or no? Remember, this guy's an attorney. He's formerly the Attorney General of Pennsylvania. He should know the law at this point, right?
I think it's something that law enforcement could take a look at. I'm not the Attorney General anymore of Pennsylvania. I'm the governor, but it does raise some serious questions.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Oh, it's killing them. It's absolutely killing them that Elon Musk is doing it. And so, for the woman yesterday, Rita, I apologize if I hurt your feelings, but it's not fake. And how do I know it's not fake? Well, I'll just let Elon show you what he did today.
And then the next thing we'd like to do is to announce today's winner of the $1 million prize. So it's Christine Fischel. Would you like to come up?
Would I like to come up? I'd be running through a wall right now.
Sir? Okay.
I'd jump off the balcony.
So, as you may know, every day from now until the election, we're giving out a $1 million prize. That is, and all you have to do is sign a petition in support of the Constitution. It's very straightforward. You don't even have to vote. You don't have to vote. You just have to sign a petition saying you believe in the Constitution. Which, if you already believe in the Constitution, you're just signing something you already believe, and you can win $1 million. That's awesome. I guess this seat was kind of far away from the stage. So. You're most welcome.
Listen to that crowd. Absolutely nuts. It's simply amazing that this man is putting his money where his mouth is and getting behind Trump and pushing people to the polls.
So, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Is there anything you want to say?
Well, thank you so much for, I truly believe everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Truly, you don't need to be doing it. I know a lot of us feel the same way. Your wealth and responsibility you are using to save speech, and we just all appreciate it. We really do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you think that freedom of speech was just a right-leaning thing? Of course not. Of course not. It should be for everybody. So Donald Trump is now taking the stage. Watching him walk in. Let's see if I can't put this on so you guys can see it as well. I gotta obviously cut the music. Let me get here. Right in every American heart. All right, so he's taking the stage right now. And hopefully the sound will sync up and I won't have that issue. Actually, it wasn't my issue. That they won't have that issue and that we can have, everything working 5 by 5 and no issues. the black woman in the cranberry suit right there, that's Sage Steele. And Sage Steele is formerly from ESPN. She is going to be the moderator today. So this is a rally / town hall. So it's kind of both right now is what we're going to be seeing today. And she's going to be the moderator, which is pretty cool. I like Sage. She's awesome. So let me just go ahead and do this. All right, so she's going to be taking the questions from the audience. You're probably going to see a bunch of Amish people there. The place is absolutely packed. They're going nuts in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, as soon as he takes the stage. Now, I do have some other stuff I want to show you, but first, verbally I can tell you, Trump put the tickets out for Madison Square Garden. 20,000 tickets went out in 3 hours in New York City. 20,000 tickets, boom, in New York City. That's how fast. So let's see, the music looks like it's a little bit different in terms of speed. This is directly from Trump's feed. I've got also RSBN. He's shaking hands with Sage Steele, formerly of ESPN. And let's see if the music has stopped, if we can begin. I hope he's got a good chair today. You know, he keeps complaining about these chairs. By now, I would hope somebody would say, you know what? We got to get the man a chair.
Here we go. You may have a seat to make sure everybody can see. Thank you so much.
You guys know how this works. Let me know how the volume is. Please let me know how the volume is.
Right? There's something about that song and something about where we are today as a country. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. She's beautiful. She's in tears.
Thank you, darling.
I would like to point out, and I mentioned it briefly, but the fact that Mr. President rushed here from a McDonald's in suburban Philadelphia.
I'm going to go with the other feed because the sound is off again.
We had a tremendous crowd circling the McDonald's, and the people were great, really. The whole state, you know what I say, the whole Commonwealth is as good as it gets, right? Don't you think? The whole Commonwealth. And I just want to thank everybody. I think we're going to do really well. We're way up in the polls. We want to keep it that way. We want to keep it too big to rig, you know? It's too big to rig. We got to make it that way. But we're way up now, and we're way up in all of the polls, I think, for the most part. And we want to make America great again. It's very simple. We want to make America great again, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So
honestly, the fact that you chose to go there today and take the time, and I heard a couple of stories of people saying, thank you for taking time for the little people. And your answer?
To me, they're big people. I think everyone's, they're all the same, you know, but they said it was so successful. Honestly, the McDonald's just hit the rockets. I mean, you have to see everything. They said, sir, you don't have to do this stuff. I said, are you crazy? I'm not going to do this. They said, you can avoid this. Can you imagine that? I said, who's going to tell these people? I'm not telling, hey, maybe we can make this more exciting than the McDonald's stuff. How about that? But there's no way I wasn't coming. I know this area very well, maybe better, and some of the greatest people. So it's great to have such a crowd. They have an overflow crowd. They have people outside trying to get in. And I was going to suggest, if anybody would like to give up your seat, anybody? One hand. I've never had anybody raise a hand saying yes. Anyway, thank you very much.
Not happening today, but I thank you so much for making that trek from outside of Philly and now here in Lancaster. And then you have a busy night because we got some football to watch in Pittsburgh. Stop, all you Eagles fans. We can cheer for the Steelers tonight as well. I want to just give you a quick rundown. I mean, this is going to be, you know, Mr. President, he is as organic as it gets, right? So we are going to go everywhere tonight on all different kinds of topics. You may notice there's no teleprompter. Not necessary. We don't need that here. I'm just saying. So we have questions from the audience. We also have questions from a few of the lovely people behind me as well. We're going to go back and forth and take turns. So are you ready for this town hall? Let's go. The first question is someone I believe who is behind me. So you're going to have to tell me. I didn't get to meet you all. Bob, where are you? Hi, Bob. Here we go.
Hi, Bob. Ooh.
Come on up.
I like that outfit. Oh, that's beautiful. Where did you buy that? I want to get one of them.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Can you help him out
Thank
with
you.
an outfit?
Absolutely. I got just your
Thank you.
size. Mr. President, I start the afternoon off. My name is Bob. I'm a retired union worker from Hazleton on a fixed income. Many Americans in my position struggle to make ends meet. Will you commit to helping protect Social Security and Medicare benefits?
A great question. The answer is yes. And, you know, when you say fixed income, because of Biden and Kamala, nobody knows her as Harris. You know, I can't use the word Harris. And by the way, it's her 60th birthday, so I want to wish her a happy 60th birthday. Right? No, happy birthday. And many more, and I mean it, so, you know, I do mean it, actually. I'm just looking at this gentleman. You don't look like you're retired to me. You look like you're in the prime. You could be if you wanted to be, right? You're doing
I'm
great.
trying.
Look at the size of the arms of this guy. I don't know. He looks pretty healthy. So people on fixed income have been decimated by the Biden and Harris regime. This has been horrible what's happened to them because we have, I think in history, I think in the greatest in history, they say no, it's 48 years. But I think we had the greatest inflation just about in the history of our country. They don't include everything. They don't include interest rates going from 2% to 10, but you can't get the money at 10, so therefore it's much higher. But the people that are hurt the most are people on fixed income, like Bob. And we're going to do a lot of things. For one thing, no tax on, on Social Security benefits for seniors. Are you getting Social Security? You don't look. What is your age?
57.
You look a lot younger than that. Doesn't he look handsome? He's a much better looking guy than I am, and look at him. You look good, and you have a good family, great family.
I've got a great family.
That's great. So you were hurt though because of the inflation. I mean, people were hurt because of the inflation, and especially the people that are in fixed income. And here's what we're doing. Number one, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. That's a big deal. No tax on tips also, as you know, and no tax for all different groups we're covering, right? And no tax on overtime. So if you work overtime, that's been the big sleeper. And another good one, I think something that's going to be really good is you can fully deduct your interest payments when you buy a car. We never did that. And a Wall Street genius called me up. He said, whose idea was that? It sounds pretty simple, right? But we've never done that. So you buy a car, you're going to be able to fully deduct your interest payment. That's a big deal. So you go out and buy a car. So we're going to do that for you. Also, that's a big thing. Also, very importantly, we're just going to make the economy better. Do you plan on working a little bit in terms of part-time jobs or any of that?
Yes, sir, I still do.
But one of the biggest things we're going to do is the economy is going to get good, but we have more liquid gold. This is what caused the inflation. We had the best, we were energy independent. First time, I think, ever. We're energy independent, and now we're getting oil from Venezuela. We're getting tar from Venezuela because it comes out as tar. We have to heat the hell out of it. And it's done. There's only one place in the whole world that can do it, and that's in Houston, Texas. So for the environmental people, that stuff is going up in smoke in our territory, and we have the best, cleanest, the most oil and gas of any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia, including Russia, Saudi Arabia, all of them. And we're going to be using it. But here's the thing. We will get your energy bill, everybody in the audience, including businesses, down by 50% from 1 year from when we take office. And when that happens, everything else is going to follow. So Sage, it was energy that caused, Bob, it was energy that caused the problem. And it's going to be energy that leads us back into the promised land. The energy went up, and also their stupid spending. They spent money on the Green New Scam at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They just they could have thrown it out the window. It would have been fine. So, and thank you for doing this. This is great to have you. I've seen so many great stories about this woman. She's a brave woman, a great woman. Beautiful too, but I'm not allowed to say that. That could be the end of your political. If you say that a woman is beautiful today, Don't be a politician. It is the end of your political career. But she's beautiful. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. And what I love about what you said there is not just the promises, which, by the way, who was the first person to talk about not taxing tips? I'm just saying. Yes, you were the first.
In fact, they've never said it again. She made it like a couple of months later. She said, and by the way, there won't be. Well, in the meantime, they're passing legislation that makes it very hard for people to skip or will, ruin their lives a little bit. A waitress, I was in my building in Las Vegas, and a waitress came over to me and said, hi. I said, how you doing? The government is killing me. They're after me all the time about tips and all this. And I said, well, that's very interesting. And she said, there shouldn't be a tax on tips. I said, that's an interesting idea. This is my consultant. This is a good waitress. She was great. And I said, that's an idea. I thought about it for about 15 minutes, and I said, what a good idea. But, they then came out like a month or two later. They made the statement. They got blown away because by that time, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to do it. Just like he was going to do the educational thing, with the debt. With debt, you borrow money to go to college, and they were going to just write it off. He's been talking about it for 3 years. It's totally dead. They won't get anything passed. We're going to get it all passed. We're going to get it done very, very quickly. So those things. But from your standpoint, Bob, the Social Security is a big deal. So we'll take care of you.
And I love the fact that Mr. Trump said within the amount of time. You said, give us a year.
Go fast.
So it's not just a promise. It's, okay, give us a year to get this done. So thank you. That is huge for all Americans.
I have to say that it's right, you said 15 days. That's right. It's hard to believe. 15 days until we get to be great again, right? But we have, look, what they did is terrible because this guy won the nomination. He got 14 million votes. I'm not a fan, but he got 14 million votes, many more votes than anybody else. He had 22 people running. Kamala was running too, and she was the first one to drop out. Shockingly, he picked her to run, which, I think he wished he had that decision to do over again. And they took it away from him. They took the presidency away. This is the first time in the history of our country, it was taken away like you take candy from a baby. And I don't use the word, there are a lot of words to describe it. It's a coup and everything. They took the presidency of the United States away from him. And honestly, they shouldn't be doing it. And, they keep talking about a threat to democracy. They're a threat to democracy, and she's a threat to democracy. What they did is a terrible thing. And just to finish, I believe that Joe Biden likes me more than he likes Kamala. And who would think that? And, look, the bottom line, so we had a debate, Joe Biden, we had a debate, and he didn't do great in the debate, but that's understandable. He didn't do well. And his poll numbers went down, but that's okay because you come back from that stuff. And what happened is incredible. Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy went in, and Schumer and all these guys went in. They said, we're taking it away. Nobody's ever seen that before. Nobody's ever done it before. And it should never happen again. It was a terrible thing. I will say that.
I think at the end of the day, all anyone wants, even if your man or woman doesn't win the race, win the competition, is just for it to be done fairly. That's all that people want. So
I agree.
Here we go. 15 days. 15 days and counting. We were talking momentarily here about taxes and no taxes on tips, et cetera. And I believe our first question from the audience is on that topic as well. Where's the microphone?
Right here. Hello.
Here we go.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hello.
My name is Suki. We've actually met before.
Uh-oh.
I have the tattoo.
Here we go.
I have the tattoo, the portrait tattoo on my leg. We met September 14th in Jim Worthington.
Oh, good. He's a good man. That's right.
And I have your portrait on my leg every single day. I get to show everyone.
Ooh.
I love and honor you.
All right, there's our story for the day.
Go ahead with your question.
Okay, Mr. President, again, my name is Suki. I have worked as a server bartender. I am a mom of 4 boys. My oldest is headed to medical school. My oldest son is a professional boxer. And 2 of my boys are MMA fighters.
Wow. Ooh. That means she's got those good fighting genes. That's what it means. Wow. Are they good? Are they pretty good? How are they doing?
He's all over TV.
Wow. Wow, that's great.
I am a proud mom. Most of my income comes from tips. Making ends meet in the economy is hard. Can you tell us your plan to lower taxes for working Americans like myself?
Well, number one, we're going to make the economy much better. I mean, that's bigger than anything we can do, is make the economy better. We're not going to let foreign countries come in and steal our businesses, our jobs, and everything else, which has been happening for years. And I must tell you, and I always tell them, why didn't you do something? When we were there, I did a lot about that. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. I don't know if they have the chart, because this is such a different forum from from making a speech or doing a rally, but we have a chart that's an amazing chart. In fact, it's probably my favorite chart of all time. Because I wouldn't be here without that chart. And oh, good. We wouldn't be here. We definitely wouldn't be. But if you take a look, see the arrow on the bottom? That arrow is my final day in office, and we had the lowest illegal immigration that we've had, I guess, probably in history, certainly in recorded history. And it was going lower. And we were going to let people in. We want to have people come in, but they have to come in legally. We have to know they love our country. They can. That's right. We don't want people coming in that were up for murder. And not only up for murder, convicted. We have 13,099 convicted murderers that were released into our country from the prison systems, penitentiaries in other countries. And the last count was 180 countries when you think of it. And we just can't let that happen. We also, drug dealers, gang members, everybody. And if you look at Venezuela, if you look at a lot of these countries where they came from, they opened up their prisons and they allowed the people to come out. And honestly, I would have done the same thing if I were there. It's called open borders. They heard we were open. They took them out. Thank you. Oh, it's so cute. Look at her. She's very politically wise at that young age, right? Both. These are young kids, and everybody's liking politics nowadays. Well, we better win or they're not going to like it too much, I can tell you, right? They're not going to like it. So we can't let that happen. We're going to make our economy great, and you're going to really come along with it. And all of those other things that I talked about, including no taxes on tips, all of that's going to be just something very special for you.
That'll be a great thing.
Thank you. And tell your boys to do great. I'll be watching, okay?
Ethan Mercado, look out for him.
Okay, we'll be watching. We'll be watching.
President Trump.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I love you.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you, Suki. And I think that is something that has not been talked about enough. We will get there a little bit later in this town hall as well, but the effects on the economy because of the open border. Yes, safety, but also the financial drain in every aspect. So we'll get into that a little bit more as well.
I have to tell you that, if you look at the polls, they'll tell you that the biggest thing is the economy. Second thing is the border, but I think this is bigger than the economy. I think when you talk about the economy, I think you have to include inflation in the economy, because the inflation's the worst we've ever had. I think it's just absolutely, in the old days, they used to call inflation a country buster. You go back hundreds of years, Germany had big inflation. It was destroyed. Other countries were destroyed by inflation. With all of that, I think what's happening at our border, where they're allowing millions of people to come into our country every year, totally unchecked and unvetted, coming from prisons and mental institutions and coming in as terrorists. We have the highest level of terrorism, highest level of terrorists that we've ever had. We've never had this many terrorists come in. We had one year where and I don't even believe this myself, the Border Patrol made these charts, and in 1 year, in 2019, I guess it was, they had 0 were allowed. Now, I think it's probably wrong. It must have been some, but 0. They put it down as 0. And this was not from me. This was from them. And the following year, it was 11. And now we have thousands of terrorists coming into our country. And nothing good can happen with that. Nothing good is going to come out of that. So I really think it's a big part of the economy, too. But I think the number one threat that we have, and I actually think the thing that people are going to be voting on most, is what's happening on our southern and but our southern border. And I think it's the number one thing that people want to talk about.
Yes, I totally agree. And We love that chart, too.
I love
we
that
love
chart.
that chart, too.
I
They can
sleep
keep
with it. I kiss it when I go to bed.
That's a great visual, Mr. President. Let's keep it going on the topic of safety. Our next question is also from the audience here. His name is Chris. Chris, yell out. Where are you? Here we go. Same spot as Suki. Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Mr. President. Thank you for coming to Lancaster. As the Lancaster County Sheriff, I'm committed to upholding public safety and reducing crime in our community by working closely with local law enforcement and other partners. How does your plan for law and order in your next term support local sheriffs, like myself, to ensure we have the resources needed to protect our communities?
Great question. Are you the current sheriff?
I am. Yes, yes, sir.
Very good. Wow, that's pretty good. You look like it. That's pretty good.
Can I, real quickly, this is a statistic that I know you know, Chris. In the Commonwealth, 49 of 67 county sheriffs have endorsed Donald J. Trump.
I was one of them.
And the rest are coming because nobody's endorsing. We have the endorsement of almost every law enforcement agency group in the country, so it's good. They have none. I don't think they have any. So thank you very much. I'll give you an answer to that. So we have to protect our law enforcement. We have to indemnify them against the bad things. You know, if you do your job well, oftentimes they go after you. They want your house. They want your pension. They want to fire you. They want to. We can't have that. We have great people, and we have people that have to be given back their authority and their respect because our cities are blowing up. We had the worst crime that we've ever had in the last year. Remember the other day, pretty recently, we were at the debate where I was debating with David Muir of ABC Fake News. And I said, we have crime at a level that we've never had it. And a lot of it's migrant crime now. The migrants are coming and they're causing crime and they're tough as hell. And they're causing they're taking over like Aurora and in Colorado. And I mean, they're taking over buildings. They're in the real estate business all of a sudden, but they're vicious people and they're taking over. And he said, no, the crime is down. Crime is down. I said, crime's not down. No, it's down. The following day, they released the figures, and crime is up 45%. And I haven't gotten this guy, David Muir. Everything I said, I said, who am I debating here? I had two of them from ABC, and I had her. She was the easy one, but they were terrible. They never questioned her on one thing, but he said, crime is down. No, crime is way up. And the FBI, we have to look at this, because the FBI put out charts that crime was down initially, because they didn't report certain little areas of the country, like the worst areas in the country for crime. And it turned out that their stats were very wrong and very misleading. But he was wrong because it's up like at least 45%. That's an incredible. You take a look at Venezuela, take a look at some of these countries that are taking all their gang members and their criminals off the streets and giving them to us. Their crime is down 40, 50, 60, 70%. So we're going to give you back the dignity and the respect. You know, we have great respect for you, and we're not going to let this happen. You can stop crime. You just have to be given the go-ahead. You go to Chicago, you go to a lot of cities, and they rob a department store, and guys are walking out with refrigerators. They have it on their back with two friends, and air conditioning and everything. And they literally are stripping, and the police are standing outside, and they're shaking out of anger because they really want to do something, but they're told to stand down, and they're watching these criminals walk out. We're not going to have that happen. We're not going to let that happen. So thank you very much, Sheriff. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, I think, unfortunately, since you left office, and certainly 2020 and COVID and George Floyd, I mean, it has been tough, and that's why I think we're all so grateful for the men and women in blue, because you do put your lives on the line every single day. So thank you, Chris, honestly, and for being a leader there. But I'm sure that is something that these sheriffs have to worry about, to encourage men and women to come back to the police force, that they will be supported on a federal level.
It's become more and more dangerous. I mean, I visited a great family in Long Island where a policeman who was killed said, please open the door. They opened the door and they start firing. The windows were darkened. They opened the door and they start firing. There's not a thing you could do, even if you were allowed, and they're not allowed, to open the door with a gun in your hand, you're still not going to make it because you can't beat that kind of speed. I mean, he's got a gun, and they started firing. He died. I went to the funeral. He died, and I paid my respects to the most beautiful family, and they can't even believe it. But the wife was telling me that she was so afraid it was going to happen. And things are happening today. It's a very dangerous profession. Of course, being president is a very dangerous profession also. You know, we were going over that the other day. 0.1% of race car drivers, that's pretty dangerous, right? 0.1% race car drivers die. 0.1%, these guys that ride the bulls, I mean, say what you want. They are very brave. That is, but 0.1%, similar to like the race car stuff. With presidents, it's a lot of them. If you think about it, you know, you had Lincoln and Kennedy and McKinley and this and that, or get shot at, many shot at, Reagan and Ford. And this is a very dangerous profession, but I wouldn't change it for anything because we're going to turn our country around. We're going to turn our country around, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it fast. Thank you.
And it does start with Americans being able to feel safe in their cities and towns every single day. It's interesting because just this past week when you sat down with the Wall Street Journal and called them out on a couple of things, I think is safe to say. Is that the best way to describe it? He let them know what he thought about the ways that they had reported things and certainly the way that even questions were being asked. And if you look back at that factually, whether it be tariffs, whether it be crime, like we were just discussing, whether it be the border, whether it be COVID. They were wrong about a lot of things, and you called them out on that. In particular, with what we were talking about with the southern border.
Well, we have to take care of our border. Our border is so important. And you look, it's just common sense. People are coming through that are criminals. You're going to have more crime. And if you remember where Kamala was saying, no, the people that come into our country, they don't commit crime. They are far tougher. The one thing nice, our criminals look like very nice people by comparison to these people are vicious. The level, you just take a look at some of these gangs that are coming in. So our criminals look much nicer than they used to. That's the only thing we can say, but that's not much. The Wall Street Journal was interested. I had like a 2.5-hour meeting with them, and it was a great meeting. I respect the Wall Street Journal a lot. And we had with the editorial board, and they actually wrote a beautiful story about it, but the one thing they said that was great, we've watched this guy for 20 years. The one thing we know is that he's got no cognitive problem. I have no cognitive. She may have a cognitive problem, but there's no cognitive problem. It was nice that they actually said that. They said, you know, if anyone has any questions, we were grilling this guy for 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Got no cognitive. In fact, if anything, he's maybe better. I don't even know if I like this. Maybe he's better than he was 20 years ago. So anyway, no, it's and I actually call for a cognitive test for all people wanting to run for president. I think not based on age. You know, some of the greatest leaders in the world, and I'm not 80, and I'm not that close to 80, but in the Biden case, he's 81 or 82. And, you know, that's okay because I know people that are unbelievably successful. By the way, a man who's very successful is Rupert Murdoch, and he's 93 or 94. He was at a meeting that I had the following day, and he's sharp as you can be. I mean, he's the same guy that I've known for 25, 30 years. He's sharp, and he's in his 90s. We've had some of the greatest leaders in world history that are in their 80s. And but it was very interesting because in reading the article, it was a great article, but I appreciated that they said that. It's very nice that they say it. I've done cognitive tests. I've done them twice, and I aced both of them. And the doctor, in one case, said, I've never seen anybody ace them. They've never seen anybody ace them. But I'd like to see cognitive tests for anybody running for president or vice president. I think it's important in a way.
And it should have nothing to do with the number, the age, in my opinion.
No,
it's all about the tests and turn them in and make that part of the requirement.
You know, I did ask about it, though. Why can't they? They say it's unconstitutional, which I think is too bad or ridiculous. But I'd like to see that. I think it would be great if we could have, you know, good, strong tests for people that are running for president, vice president. They do say, however, it's unconstitutional. Who likes the idea of that? I do. Yeah.
Well, there's an age minimum. So add that to it, 35 years and a
right.
cognitive test.
Yeah.
Because you could be 41 and have cognitive issues, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I've said it for a long time, and I think it would be a great thing if we could do it.
Let me ask you one more time to wrap up the topic of the border, because the second you left office and Biden-Harris took over, they immediately implemented changes and changed drastically so many of these
99 changes, can you believe?
Immediately.
Like remain in Mexico. Like you got to remain in Mexico. You can't. That's a little change, right? And you think that was easy to get from Mexico? I said, we want them to, and because of tariffs, I said, look, if you don't agree, I'm going to charge you 25% tariffs. They said, we would love them to remain in Mexico. I'll never forget. They were so against it.
So how quickly can these be implemented again and changes made?
Almost immediately. Remember one thing. I watched her the other night about a bill. The bill was a disaster, by the way. It was a horrible bill. Would have let people have immunity. It would have given people, millions of people would have allowed it to come in aimlessly. It was a hopeless, horrible bill. But she always uses that. And we would institute, she's trying to get tough now on the border after 4 years of destroying our country. Now, all of a sudden, a couple of months ago, they went to a little bit tougher. The only thing she didn't stop are airplanes flying over the border, loaded up. You know how many people? Hundreds of thousands of people come in by airplane. They didn't stop that. They forgot. I think they said they forgot. They want to show a little toughness. But look, we need strong borders. We need great elections. If we don't have great elections and strong borders, then we don't have a country. Those two things, and other things, but those two things are at the top of the list. We have to have strong borders, and we want people to come in.
Yes.
But we want people to come in that can really do it, that can do a job. And we're going to get that. We're going to get that. But we have to get rid of the people. We have to get rid of the people that are now there. She is so bad. Remember what she said.
I'm sorry, when you say get rid of the people who are there, some of the illegals that are here?
No. I'm talking about the politicians.
The politicians,
that are allowing
okay,
this
I'm making
to happen. No, we have to get rid of the politicians. And remember what she said? She was interviewed on numerous shows and she couldn't come up. What would you do different? I can't think of anything. I don't know. She can't think. Do you know that 325,000, now think of a stadium, a big stadium be filled up many times. 325,000 children are dead or missing under there. They came across the border or they didn't. They're all dead, missing, or into sex slavery or slavery. 325, many of them are dead. I'm sure many of them are dead. Probably their parents will never see their parents. Like any parent, they want to see them. They get kidnapped, they get taken. 300, and they come through an open border. They're missing or dead, or they're in slavery. 325,000. Think of that. Think of what that means. The number, it's like unheard of. And remember, what would you do different? Nothing. I wouldn't do anything different. So immediately she's disqualified because he's the worst president in our history. She's the worst vice president in our history. And to think that, she's running for president is pretty ridiculous.
I feel like you all will agree with me that this is no one here or in this country that I speak to, and you speak to a lot more people than I do, is anti-immigration. It's about doing it the right way. And now we sit here, and I know you hear this everywhere you go, Mr. President, where you hear people saying, send them back, send them back. That process is not easy. No, but we obviously cannot even take care of the taxpaying Americans in this country. Yeah. So when you hear send them back, and some should be sent back based on a quote-unquote resume, what is that process like?
So let me just tell you, again, it gets down to the sheriff and local police. They know everybody in town. They know their names, their middle names. They have serial numbers. They've got everything. They know everything. They know all about these horrible criminals coming in from Venezuela, coming in from Colombia. They know everyone. Local police. The local police will work with others. And look, from a practical standpoint, it's very tough because there'll be one woman with two beautiful children who gets brought back, and there'll be tears, and the Times and all these crazy newspapers will do stories about one person when so it's a very difficult thing. But we start with the murderers. We know who they are. We don't know everything about them because they've been let in without being vetted. But we start with the murders. Nobody wants to have murders. These are people that some were getting the death penalty. They were going to be executed in their own. Some killed more than 5 people. Some killed more than 2 people. One killed like 9 or 10 people. We want them out. We start with them. We start with the drug dealers. We start with the people that are causing. Oh, by the way, you start also with the terrorists. You got to get them out. And then we start figuring out what the hell we're going to do, because what they've done to our country, what they have done, and I'll tell you who is affected most, the black population, the Hispanic population, because their jobs are being lost. People that had jobs for years are losing their job now to people that came into our country illegally. So that's a really, and they're starting to see it. You know, the black population over the last short period of time, their numbers, their unemployment numbers have just skyrocketed. The reason is people coming into the country illegally are taking their jobs. So, and I'll tell you what's going to be affected very much are going to be unions. But you're going to see things happening that are just, it's just too much. In one town in Ohio, a town of, think of this, a town of 52,000 people, they put 32,000 illegal migrants in this town, right? 32,000 illegal migrants into a 52,000 people town. In Aurora, they have people that are running in and walking down the streets carrying weapons. And the landlord to the building is saying, I don't know what I'm going to do here. They're collecting the rent in the building for themselves. I mean, and this is happening all over. This is happening all over the country. You know, we mentioned a few different places. And a lot of mayors don't want to talk about it because it's bad for the reputation of the state and the town or the city that they're in. But look at New York, what's happened. Look at Chicago. Look at Los Angeles, what's happening. Our country's being destroyed by incompetent politicians. And, you know, all they have to do, remember this, when they say a bill, she always said the bill wasn't passed because the Senate wouldn't want to go against Trump. He called, it had nothing to do with me. The bill was no good. But listen, all the president has to do is she gets to the White House, wakes him up. They call because if it's after 4 o'clock, he sleeps after 4 o'clock. Get him the hell down to the Oval Office and say, President, sign the bill. All he has to do is say, the borders are closed. Tell that to the Great Border Patrol. The borders are closed, and those borders, that's what I did. I didn't have a bill. I had the best border maybe ever. I didn't have a bill. I just said, close the borders now. And they were closed. You don't need a bill for that.
They have been saying that for years now, that they needed to get it approved in Congress and all.
You don't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I didn't have a bill. I said, close the borders. You know, my father used to tell me when, like, we'd hire some guy and, sir, could I have a letter of authorization that I got this job? And my father always used to say to me, you know, son, every time they need a letter, they never work out to be any good. The guys that don't need a letter, those are the ones that you want. Because when they ask for a letter, that means they don't have it. This guy, so what happens is you call up the head of the Border Patrol, you call up the group, and you say, effective immediately, the borders are closed, and they close up. And that's what I had. I didn't have a bill. I closed up the borders.
And the billions of dollars that are being spent across the country to pay for the education, the health care, the rent, the insurance for illegal aliens can go to Americans, can go to minorities, can be spent on veterans who are on the streets homeless. So I have hope, and we're going to hold you to this.
But you know, it's not financially feasible or sustainable for us to be paying for hundreds, not for hundreds, for millions and millions of people. It's estimated now that the real number is over 21 million people in 3.5. 21 million people came into this country. Many of them are seriously bad people.
And that's why the graphic is the best graphic ever.
I was wondering who that was. It's the fake news. No, these guys are great. These are the photographers. When they take good pictures, I like them. When they take bad pictures of me, I don't like them. They usually turn out to be not so nice, but that's okay. Here's a man. Pulitzer Prize, Doug. Pulitzer Prize. It's the only thing good about the New York Times is Doug. Pulitzer Prize, everybody. Pretty good. He's good. He's a good guy. They're all good guys. Very talented guys. Good.
Yes, we pay extra close attention to any movement up near the stage.
I was wondering who's coming in. I was looking. I was getting ready. Put up your dukes. Here we go.
Here we go again, yes. Back to the audience. Where is Paul for a question?
Good evening,
I got to get
Mr.
to work.
President.
He's behind me.
Hello, Paul.
All right, Paul, let's go. Hi. You ready?
Ma'am. And to kind of talk a little more about the border. My name is Paul, and I served in the United States Army and the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. Thank you.
We got to get you on camera, you know?
Let me get up. These are the most uncomfortable chairs, but I think we'll get them. There is no chair like that chair.
I'm so glad you said it.
How are you? Nice to see you, man.
Very
That's
nice
great.
to meet you, President.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, right now members of the National Guard are mobilized because of the crisis at the border. How soon will the wall get finished if you're elected?
So the wall, we built hundreds of miles of wall, more than I said I was going to be doing. And again, I had a hard time with Congress on the wall. I took it out of the military because we rebuilt the military. We had a lot of money in the military. We took out billions because I considered it an invasion of our country. It was very easy. And we then got sued by Nancy, crazy Nancy, and all the Democrats, and we got sued 11 different times. We won all the suits. It was brutal, but we were sued a lot. And we got hundreds of miles of wall built. And then I said, let's add some more. And one of the reasons we did have the great success is because I got the wall built. I was building wall at levels that nobody had ever seen. And we were going through tremendous obstacles. It was hard, but we got it done. And then I said, let's add 200 miles because there were certain areas. You know, it's interesting. When you add wall here, you got to add a little more wall here. And it was just it's like water. It's like water. And we were ready to do that. We ordered 200 miles. It was ready to be thrown up. It could have been thrown up in 3 to 4 weeks. And then we had a very unfortunate election. And these characters took over. And I said, you know, something's going on. They're not putting up the wall. They have to put up the wall. It would have been unbelievable, totally secure, very hard to get through the wall. That was the wall specifically that Border Patrol and all of them wanted. This is the one that they wanted. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to have concrete plank going up 30 or 40 feet. They said has to be steel, has to have, have to be able to see through it, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a combination of steel, concrete, and then rebar in the middle, each one of those pieces. And then they have, I told this here, they have an anti-climb panel on the top. And I hated it because I didn't like the way it looked. These things were so beautiful. And we had to put the anti-climb. But I said, no way I'm going to do that. I hate it. It was costly, but I hated it. And then we had people climbing. And it's true, the anti-climb panel is exactly what it is. It was much harder. So I said, all right, we'll do it. But this is exactly what they wanted. And they didn't want to put it up. And that's the first time that I realized that they actually want an open border. Who would want an open border? It's like, who would want an open border? Who would want men playing in women's sports? Who would want all these transgender operations on your children? So we built a tremendous amount of wall, and we were going to do another 200. But I got Mexico to come in, and they gave us thousands and thousands of troops while we were building the wall. And that was hard to do. Remember, I always said Mexico will pay. They paid much more than what I was talking about. They gave us troops. They did a really good job. They didn't want to do it. They said, no way. And I said, way. And they said, no, we're not doing it. And I said, if you're not doing it, I'm going to charge you a 25% tariff. And they said, these tariffs, I'm telling you, it's my favorite word in the dictionary, outside of love and religion. But so I said, we're going to charge you. And we got the troops from Mexico free of charge. And they were, it really did the trick. We had great success. But the net result is all of this wall that we built, they ended up selling for 5 cents on the dollar. Very expensive stuff, too. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And Texas wanted to use it, Arizona wanted to use it, and the federal government wouldn't sell it to them. And they sold a lot of it for 5 cents on the dollar. These are people that hate our country. I'm convinced of it. There's something, you got to vote them out. We got to get back to common sense, right? Thank you.
How immediate is that process? We talked about sending certain individuals back. How immediate is the wall process? Can they begin building right away?
Yeah, the wall.
Yeah.
I've become very good at building walls, actually. Remember, there's only two things that work. Everything's obsolete. Other than that, see their cameras? Look at these beautiful cameras they have. In 2 weeks, they'll be obsolete, right? Everything. The computers are going to be up. Two things. What are the two things? Wheels and walls. They're not obsolete. They always work. And you can always have a wheel and a wall, right? Look at her. She was the one that was crying. If she was crying, that means she likes you like Trump. Look, she's crying again.
She's crying again. Here we go.
Stand up, show everybody.
Oh.
Very nice. Thank you, sweetheart. Are your friends as passionate as you? Yes, well, oh boy, I'm glad they have those good seats. Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We call these, don't we call these happy tears? These are happy
Those
tears,
are
of course.
tears
yes.
that are happy tears.
Okay, let's keep it going. Olivia, I'm not sure, is Olivia in the audience or is Olivia on stage? Hello, Olivia. Come join us. You get to stand in the middle here. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Olivia, and I'm a first-time voter from Stevens and a college student. Based on the inflation and weak job market, it seems like a big stretch that I'll ever be able to own a home. What is your plan to help bring down inflation and make life more affordable for Americans like me who are just starting off?
And a home is a big deal, right? Yeah. You know, you can't have the American dream because I'm giving the American dream. I gave up so much during that 4-year period. We had the greatest economy. We had the greatest everything, and people were back to a thing called the American dream. I'm so glad you used the term. We're going to get interest rates way down. There are some places, 35% the cost of a home are regulations and nonsense that shouldn't be, between long-term zoning where it takes years and years to get it developed. We're going to take a lot of that out. I did, and they put a lot of it back in. The environmental approvals are terrible, just terrible, so ridiculously bad. And we're going to get it taken care of. We'll bring down the cost. The biggest thing with two things: make the economy good so you get a lot of money, right? Make the economy good. And the other thing is interest rates. We're going to get interest rates. Right now, you can't get money. Even if you had a good job, you're paying 10%, you're paying 11, 12%, and you can't get it. When I was president, it was 2.2% interest, and now, and the money was all over the place, and now you can't get the money. So we're going to make sure that you can get the money. And who's going to occupy that house with you?
Right now, it's just me.
But a beautiful family eventually, right? I'll bet. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. How about that first-time voter, Olivia?
Great.
Gets to ask the president a question. You go, girl. Good job. Let's keep it up.
Right.
Where's Ty? It's Ty. Hello. Come on up here, too. Right in the middle.
I like that. You like that, everybody? Should I do it? Should I do it? What do you think? Should I grow one of
the goatee?
She said yes. Why not? Come here. Thank you very much. Looks good.
Good evening, Mr. President. We'd like to first thank you for being here and taking questions from us. The people of Carbon County would like to thank you for your service and commitment for making America great again. My name is Ty. I'm a small business owner. I've seen the detrimental effects of Kamala on the war on coal and rising energy costs. When you were president, the average price for gas around here was about $2.50. Today at the Wawa on the corner, it was $3.34. That difference over 4 years adds up. What is your plan to help businesses like myself, especially with the cost of energy?
So we actually had, and a big thing is going to be the cost of energy. Energy is so big, it's so like amorphous, it's all over the place. If you make donuts, it's a stove and the truck to bring them to wherever they're being delivered. The biggest thing is energy with this, with what you're talking about. We're going to get that way down. And our price per gallon was actually, we had it down to $1.87 a gallon. And we had actually the $3.50 was up to, that you had mentioned, that was up to $4, $5, and $6, and it was heading up again, and then they went back quickly. You know, they ended my energy policy, and they were getting killed, and they went back to it. What they don't say is that they went back to it. You know, they said, we're getting killed here the day after the election. If they won this election, they're going to go to a no fossil fuel deal. You're going to have all electric, and you're going to say, oh, I can't go far. It costs too much, and they're made in China. And, you know, we love Elon Musk, and he makes, and I think, and I will tell you, and I think these electric, what he does is incredible. The electric cars are great, but it's a certain application. Some people would like them, depending on distances. If you want to go long distances at this moment, maybe not. But, you know, the amazing thing about Elon, you know, he's in Pennsylvania today campaigning for me. Can you believe it? And the Tesla is a great car, but I will tell you, but he will be the first to tell you, and he never called me once because I hit them hard, because they have this electric mandate that in a very short period of time, everyone's forced to have an electric car. Well, what about hybrids? What about regular gasoline-propelled cars? We have more gasoline than anybody, but China has the product to make the batteries, so it's not a good thing for us. I've never had a call, and I speak to him a lot. He's incredible. How about that rocket that came down a few days ago? How cool was that? I called him up. I said, was that you? He said, yes. Nobody else can do that. Russia can't do it. China can't do it. And the U.S. can't do it, other than it's him. But no, he's incredible. But, you know, amazing thing, he never once called me up and said, give you my word, I never once called me up and said, lay off the electric, would you? He gave me the greatest endorsement. He understands he's going to have a tremendous market. There's a great market for that, but not 100% of the market. It's, you know, gasoline and hybrid. And there's another one, hydrogen. Did you ever hear that? That's a new one. But here's the problem. He knows. Mr. Wall, please stand up. He's heard this before. This gentleman has come to 300 rallies. He likes me. You know, he's a very successful guy, too. He just likes these rallies. He'd rather be watching this than some crummy football game, right? But, you know, what is happening is there is a lot of great technology, but hydrogen is not acceptable because it's better than anything except when there's a problem. It has a tendency to blow up. And when it blows up, you are unrecognizable. They call the wife down, would you please examine, not really the body, because there's no body, it's just a pile of stuff. And I don't want the hydrogen, if you don't mind. You know, it's one of those things, it's really wonderful, but when it doesn't work, you're dead. We don't want that. So we'll come to another, but there'll be other, over a period of time, there'll be other things. We're going to get those interest rates down. We're going to, and I'm telling you, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again. We have more liquid, think of it, we have more gasoline and gas, and we have oil converted easily into gasoline. Also oil for your house, for your air conditioning, for your heating. We will have your electric bills and all of your energy bills down by, we're going to cut it in half. Anything you're paying right now, and that's going to make your business strong by itself. That's good. And it'll be done within 1 year. Because what are we going to do? Drill, baby, drill. Frack, baby, frack.
Frack, baby,
We're going to frack. We're going to frack and drill, okay? Thank you, man.
And
Thank
Ty.
you. Oh, good, I will. I will.
And Ty, what is your business?
I own a bar and restaurant in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, in the Carbon County.
What's the name of it?
Boatyard Bar and Grill, just outside of Jim Thorpe.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love this. I love this topic because we know how many small businesses were decimated, especially after COVID, and what has happened since then. So, Ty, we're here for you. Go hang out at Ty's bar. Why not?
The one thing, sounds good. I'll bet it's a good place. Got a lot of action, right? Oh, Stan Musial? Oh, I see. Dan Muser. Is Dan here? Oh, where's Dan? Is it that good, Dan? I thought he said Stan Musial. Stan the man, remember? Hi, Dan. How are you? Who do we have here? Look, come on up here for a second, Dan. Am I allowed to do? Because this is our host, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but what do you think? One of our great,
the boss.
One of our great Congress people. You know, under this forum, we don't really
Secret Service
announce our Congress people, our senators. And you're going to tell me who else is here with you, Dan. Come on up. This guy is fantastic. Congressman Dan
Come on up in the middle.
How are we doing? Most importantly, Dan, most importantly, he's very much involved with the election. How are we doing?
We're doing great, Mr. President. And you know why? Because the enthusiasm for you has never been higher. And hey, how about it, everyone? We have so much to thank you for. What you did as president, our country was never stronger. what you're doing now, you and your family, what you've gone through for surviving. We thank you very much for that. And folks, how about we're going to be thanking him so much when he truly makes America great again. It's all going to happen pretty fast.
Thank you, Dan. Lloyd, come on up here, Lloyd. Come on up here. Lloyd Schmucker, Congressman, warrior. Lloyd Schmucker. Come on up here, Lloyd. Thank you very much. That's great. That's great.
Hi, Lloyd.
These are two warriors.
He had no idea he was being called on stage, did you?
No, not at all. But I can tell you, this is the district that I represent, and these are a room full of people who love you, Mr. President.
They love him, too.
And I'll also tell you, the enthusiasm is higher than 4 years ago and even 8 years ago right now. We're seeing volunteers like we haven't seen before. We're going to win this area big.
Thank you very much. Thank you both. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lloyd. Thank you. Good. Oh, I'm lucky. Oh, you have no idea the hell that I'd have to. If we would have said goodbye and these two warriors weren't introduced, I would have had a problem. I would have felt very badly. Good. Is there anybody else? You're going to go for McCormick. I know that, David.
Do you know what I enjoyed watching was the expressions on the faces of the Secret Service as he's inviting people on stage, right?
They're not happy. They don't get too happy. That's right. They're saying, excuse me, sir, they won't be allowed on the stage. Anyway, this has been really great.
I think you ended the question with Ty about frack baby frack. And
Going to frack baby frack. She is not going to frack, by the way. She's been against fracking. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will do it. You know, with a politician, take a look at their initial record. That's what they go back to. She's only doing this because of the election. She just changed all these policies. She changed 15 different policies. She wanted the transgender operations, I mean, almost at will. And a lot of them, though, the taxing. She wants to do a capital gains tax on, think of this, on unrecorded values. Think of this. If it goes up, you don't have any cash, it goes up, she'll put everybody out of business. She wants a capital gains tax that's going to destroy the country. She wants to raise your taxes to 70 or 80%, kill all your jobs, chase everybody out to other countries. You know, businesses today, they will leave our country. They're international businesses, the big ones. And you want to get cute, everyone's going to pay. They say one day, I'm going to Asia, I'm going to Europe, I'm going to Germany, let's say, I'm going someplace. We can't do this. She wants capital gains taxes that have never been even tried before. They will destroy the country. This woman is so incompetent. She's so bad. You cannot, and I would normally not like to speak like that. If they get chosen, our country's finished. You know, Elon Musk is a very smart guy. You got to see his endorsement. He said, if this election isn't won by Donald Trump, our country is essentially finished. That's a hell of a statement for him to make. And he's a totally brilliant guy. This guy's got so much. And I have to say, and I've said it before, I said it yesterday at a rally, he makes something that Starlink, that I never heard of it, but it's great. It's communication. North Carolina, Georgia had some areas that were not, basically it's communication. It's a communication system. But especially North Carolina is the job that it was just totally demolished. They had no communications. People were dying. The federal government failed, worse than Katrina. They did nothing. The White House, her and Biden did nothing. And they needed to get Starlink. They said, do you know Elon Musk? I said, I do. What? Because I was there. They said, is there a way we could get Starlink? So I called him up, and he had that to them so fast. It was unbelievable. And you can't get it. The congressmen know this. And so I just want to thank Elon Musk. Yes. But when you look at his endorsement, where he endorsed me, I mean, he's not going around all over Pennsylvania day and night. It's like he's running. He just feels that our nation, if it doesn't win this election, the nation is not going to survive. It's not going to survive.
It has been incredible
so I want to thank
watch.
Elon.
Yes, it has been a blessing to watch him. Without the First Amendment, we have nothing. And Elon Musk has come Buying Twitter was an incredible thing to do, and I think all of us are so grateful for him appreciating what America was founded upon. I will say about the fracking, to wrap that part up, fortunately we do have something called videotape, and in 2019 and several times since Kamala Harris has said she would ban fracking, and now we come back and a lot of flip-flopping on that. So just like with the border, when I asked timing and how quickly, we're in the Keystone State, we're in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fracking. I mean, this is a gold
Do you want to put up, do we have one of those fracking statements that she made? Because here, we put it up sometimes, but Pennsylvania specifically.
Yes.
It's about fracking. Can they put that fracking tape up if they could do it? I don't know if they can do it. This is a different forum. But if they can, put up the frack.
I'm committed to passing a Green New Deal and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
I'm offering a Green New Deal that has been described as one of the most aggressive and progressive. Yeah, I will vote for it. It is a resolution. I believe that the underlying principles behind it are sound and important.
What is the solution for voters who have jobs and interests in the fossil fuel industry?
Giving the workers an ability to transition into the jobs of the future.
Can we afford it?
Of course we can afford it. It's not about cost.
So there you heard it. Good job backstage. Give me my wife. I said, give me that fracking statement. No, she doesn't want fracking. She's never wanted fracking. And by the way, she destroyed one of the greatest cities in the world, San Francisco, destroyed it. It's not even livable. She destroyed it, and she destroyed, along with Gavin Newsom. Have you heard of him? Terrible, one of the worst governors. He'll go down as one of the worst governors in history, Gavin Newsom. But the two of them destroyed California. How do you destroy California? The ocean, the temperature, everything is, it's like the perfect place. They're destroying it. They had more people leave it, think of it, than come in. First time, I think, ever. It's an incredible place, and they have virtually destroyed it. And she will not destroy, we're not going to let her destroy America. That's all there is to
Fracking.
it.
How soon? How quickly? How much in Pennsylvania?
Well, we have to go. You know, what you're doing is fracking, but you can do much more. You can do double and triple what you're doing right now. You're restricted by so many different things that they put on. So we're going to let them frack, like a duck. Frack. You can do 3 times what you're doing now and even 4 times, and you can do it. And it won't have any impact on you. It's not going to have any impact. So we can, and tremendous money. You can lower your taxes for the state, great for the country. But you're in a state that has tremendous, capability that you wouldn't even think. You don't think of Pennsylvania. When you think of Pennsylvania as a commonwealth and having to do with fracking, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have thought. But now it's your biggest, most important thing. It's 5. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania produces 500,000 energy jobs. They'd be wiped out. So they can actually do a lot more if they wanted to, if they were allowed. I will allow them to do a lot more. We're going to get your energy bills down at a level that you haven't seen before. It's going to make a big difference.
And here we go. We have time for one final question. Sarah, come on up, girlfriend.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Nice to have you here.
Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Sarah. I'm a veteran, U.S. Marine veteran, and
great.
And I'm a Purple Heart recipient.
Wait. They didn't hear this part. This is very important. Please say it again, Sarah.
I'm a U.S. Marine veteran and a Purple Heart recipient of Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. Many veterans face significant challenges such as accessing quality health care, mental health support, and transition assistance back into civilian life. Will you commit to making the VA Choice program that you open up permanent?
So we had VA Choice, and this was something that was so important, was sought. That's where you have a choice of getting a doctor if you can't get fairly, quick service. And I will say we have great doctors. The doctors are incredible, but the administration of it is not good. And as you know, 4 years ago, we had the highest rated VA ever. We were at 92% approval rating. And I got two things done. I got VA Choice, and that was basically you wait, and if you don't have a doctor within 48 hours, you can go outside, get a doctor, we pay the bill, and you get yourself taken care of. People were waiting for 4 and 5 months to see a doctor, and they were not feeling well, but literally it was a minor thing, and they end up being terminally ill because of it. Think of it, terminally ill. The other thing we did, we had a lot of people that because of civil service and unions and other things, you couldn't fire them under any circumstances, no matter what they were. And they were sadists and they were thieves. There were a lot of bad people, right? You couldn't fire anybody. So they were living with people that were horrible. And these were both authorized by Congress. One was 52 years, they couldn't get it. The other was 58 years. I got the right to fire bad people that didn't take care of our veterans, right? You know that. And we fired 9,000 people and replaced them with great people, with loving people. And those two things, and we had a 92% approval rating, and it's never been even close to that. Now, here's the bad news. They're very rapidly breaking the system up. And they've hired a lot of the people back that were terrible and that we fired. One of the problems, it's just unbelievable. And they don't, you know why? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And the other thing is they're slowly getting rid of choice, so that they're making it so tough that you almost can't use it. We were actually saving money on choice because you'd save, a doctor would fix them up and get them back and beautiful. Instead, they were getting sicker, sicker, and sicker, and many of them became terminal. You know, I did one other thing, I have to say, right to try. That's where you have a right to try medicines that won't be approved for another 4 or 5 years. They've been trying for 50 years, more than that, to get it approved. And, you know, the insurance companies didn't want it, the country didn't want it, nobody wanted it. The doctors didn't want it because they didn't want to be sued. And I said, here's what we're going to do. I sat down in a room with all of them, the labs. I said, we're going to make a deal. They're going to sign a document saying they're not going to hold anybody liable, and we're going to get the right to try. And nobody really wanted to do it, but we did it. I forced it on them. We have saved thousands and thousands of lives, and even the labs now, and the doctors like it, because we're finding out that, you know, some of these things are incredible. They're taking people that were terminally ill, and they're getting better. Some of them are getting totally better. And we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. It sounds so simple. I love the name, Right to Try. People used to go to Asia, they'd go to Europe, they'd go all over the world looking for a cure, or they had no money and they couldn't do that. They'd go home and they'd just die. Now they sign a simple document, and we're using space-age things that won't be approved for another few years by the FDA, and we move that time up. But they won't be approved for a little while. You know, you have to go through a very extensive testing. But if people are willing to sign that, we have saved so many thousands of lives. So I think you understand. But we're going to go back to choice very rapidly. Immediately, we're going back to choice. And we're also going to get rid of the bad people that don't love you. Okay?
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your service. My goodness. Army brat here. That's where our roots are. Our servicemen and women, our first responders, that's where it is. And so thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much, and congratulations. I want to wrap up on this, if I could. I had the opportunity a few months ago to talk to your lovely daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, on my show. She is incredible. She's an incredible woman. She is obviously so committed to bringing you back to where you belong. She's an incredible mother. I've been traveling with her a lot lately, and she's amazing. And one of the things we talked about on my show was the why with you, because you have a lot of other things you could be doing right now. Your bank account looks pretty good. You have a few golf courses around the country. You have a few buildings here and there. You had 4 incredible years. You have grandchildren. You have another one on the way. Congratulations to your daughter, Tiffany. One of my favorite moments with you was watching the RNC and watching your daughter, your granddaughter, 17 years old, on the stage, and what that must have felt like for you. So there's so much that you have, and then you come out here and you just said it's such a dangerous job, and you choose to continue to do this when you don't have to. It's safer, it's cheaper, all of the things to not do what you're doing today. Why? Why?
So, thank you. Thank you. So, I probably am asked that question more than any other question. They say, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I think I'm asked that question maybe like, why do you do this? Or if you had it to do again, sort of a similar question, would you do it over? And the answer to that is so easy and so emphatic, yes. But the reason is, I was saying to, in a sort of kidding fashion the other night at a rally with these great rallies, and I was saying, I didn't have to be here. I was in the middle of a little bit of a rough area, and I loved every minute of it. We had, I think, 28,000 people. We had 101,000 people in Butler, you know that. We had 107,000 people in California the other day. And I said, here's the story. I could be anywhere I want. I could be on the finest beaches having that sun go over that very white skin that hasn't seen sun in years. I could be hit in the face with beautiful waves of salt and beautiful salt water. I could be wherever I want, and I have great properties all over. Or I could be here with you people, and you know what? I would rather be here with you than any other thing that I can do, because you have a lot of people that are rich or wealthy and they can do what they want to do. But we're doing something that's unique. This is the greatest movement of all time. We're going to turn our country around. Our country is really, it's a failing nation. I don't care what you say. I mean, we're laughed at all over the world by other leaders. 4 years ago, we were respected by everybody. China, Russia. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine. Israel would have never been attacked on October 7th. We would have never had the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, which is, you saw what happened in Afghanistan, the Taliban. We would have never had, think of it, we would have never had Afghanistan. We were getting out, but we were going to get out with dignity and strength, and we're going to keep the big air base Bagram because it's 1 hour away, spent billions and billions of dollars, just about the biggest, most powerful, longest runways in the world. We gave it to China. They gave it to China. China's now operating. We were 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We gave it up. Would have never happened. All of these things, we wouldn't have had inflation because our energy was so good. Energy caused the inflation, what they did with energy. But I said to myself, sometimes I see, I get hit with all these lunatics that we have, where the radical left lunatics, where they make up stories about Russia, Russia, Russia. In the end, I wouldn't change what we've done for anything. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. And we can't do that sitting on a beach, right? We can't do that sitting on a beach. So I wouldn't change it for a thing. And I just want to thank you. You've really done a great job tonight. And you have a tremendous understanding. I thought that I know you through sports and through other things, but you have really got an understanding of both the good and the bad of where this country is. And I appreciate you being here very much.
Thank you. I'm an American. That's all it is. I just love this country, and I love that you love this country. This is what we need, and he does choose to do this for all of us. So help me give him a grand exit off the stage here, because he has football to go watch. The 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Get out and vote, everybody.
Exit off the stage here, because
Trump is leaving this event, and from here he's heading to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe they play the Jets tonight. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's Steelers-Jets. So he's going to be on Sunday Night Football. I doubt they show him the same way they show Taylor Swift every time somebody scores, but he'll be there, and I'm sure the people of Pittsburgh are going to love it. Antonio Brown's going to be there. Le'Veon Bell will be there. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people there. And I'm sure the crowd will start screaming Trump, even if NBC doesn't want, I believe, yeah, it's NBC, even if NBC doesn't want to show it. Trump spoke for a little over an hour and 15 minutes, took questions from people. As you can see, he's dancing. He's up big time in, in the numbers. The numbers are what they are. At this point, they're pretty much baked in. It's not really, I don't believe she can catch up at this point. Especially with the stuff that Elon Musk is doing and how he's giving out $1 million a day until election day. And so just so you know, I keep seeing people talk about this thing over and over and over again. It's not just Pennsylvania. He's giving out $1 million a day to anyone who signs a petition who lives in one of the swing states you can name off the swing states. So the other part of that is, you're an American. And as an American, I would go ahead and sign up anyway. Don't sign up just because you have a chance of winning $1 million. That's great. But sign up anyway to support the First Amendment. I think people got wrapped up into the money and everything and said, not realizing, support the First Amendment. Show that you care about something. It's not just about the money. I'm just going to go, that's the last thing I'm going to say about it, because people are all freaked out about, it's not fair. I can't do it. I can't join. Show you care. Wear your gear. We're going to talk about some gear in a second. I got to talk about wearing gear. Last night I told people, stop being afraid. No longer be afraid. And I got a message today, and I'm going to read it to you. Obviously, I'm not going to say the person's name, but listen to this, all right? So, where is she? All right. Listen to what this woman sent me, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Ready? Hey, Barry, I wanted to share something that my husband and I experienced today, and with much thanks to you and your encouragement by your spontaneous YouTube broadcast last night. When I said, stop being afraid, put on the gear, let people know you support Trump. We live in Miami, and things in this city, as you know, are very tumultuous. We both wore our very loud Trump and MAGA shirts today to go to lunch and to go shopping. I can't tell you how many people walked up to us to shake our hands and thank us for the courage to proudly wear what we stand for. Some store clerks actually quietly whispered their support in our ears as they did not feel safe speaking aloud. Their truth is truth. It feels so good to remember what it's like to be an American again. We are free and we are proud. Thank you, Barry, for incentivizing us. And I won't tell you the person's name or anything or show a picture, but it works. People want to know it's okay. Show your support, whether it's signing a petition that you're not going to win $1 million, you still can show your support. We're all together here. And I think you're going to find out, like this woman found out, there's more of us than you would even imagine. See, right now, there are a lot of people in different corners of restaurants and supermarkets and grocery stores and malls who can't or don't feel comfortable emerging from this shell that they have put upon us. And right now, some people are taking what I said and what Grant Cardone said and other people said and like, you know what? I'm good with this. I'm a Trump supporter. And then all of a sudden you start seeing people go, they give you the nod, give you the thumbs up, honk the horn. There are more of us than you know. There are more of us than the media wants to let us know. What's further evidence of that? Well, further evidence of that is the entirety of 20,000 seats in Madison Square Garden for Donald Trump in Manhattan, New York City, sold out in under 3 hours. Every single ticket is gone. In New York City. Think about that for a second. That is basically the bluest of blue, other than California, and he sold out 20,000 tickets in 3 hours. I had said before, dude, you should have held it in Yankee Stadium. It's going to be too cold now. You can't really do it in Yankee Stadium, but I bet you he would have got 50, 60,000 people. No, if you can sell something out in 3 hours, yeah, you can get 50, 60,000 people in there. So I just want to say, put your stuff on. Put it on and wear it. Now, before I give away the sweatshirts for today, a lot of people have been saying, "Hey, do you have any video or anything of what happened today with Trump and being out there making McFries, Trump fries, freedom fries, whatever we want to call them?" Well, yeah, I've got the Trump fries. This is so hilarious. He trolled Kamala Harris epically. There are so many videos out there, but I found this one to be really funny because you could see how awkward he was and as he was working. Check this out.
You want to give it a try? I do. You can step it over here. You're going to grab the basket 2 hands. And then you can go right into here on the left. Yep, slowly, right here. Slowly, gently lowered into the oil. You don't want to burn yourself. Up, down. There you go.
He saw that hot oil.
Our fry timer right here. That one's going good. Now we can drop another one too. So we'll grab one more basket, 2 hands. Yep. We're going to put it right here. We'll lower it slowly into the oil. Don't want to burn. Way too good. And then we're just going to hit our fry timer right here.
Right there.
Yep. Now we're waiting for that duty timer. So now when that duty timer comes up, again, hit the timer, take it out the oil slowly, give it a little shake so that we don't get stuck together, and then lower it back into the oil. So this one will probably go off before anybody else. Yep, there we go. That'd be good. You got it. So now lift it out of the oil. 2 hands. So can you slide over that? Shake, and then slowly back into the oil. That's good. And then we got another one going off. So duty timer right here with that button. Good. And then out the oil. Shake. And back into the oil. Very nice. And then our last one is going to go off. We'll give that a few seconds. I'm going to make a few more fries.
That's good. You got to make some more. Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh?
Oh, I was dying. I was watching it and just absolutely dying. I'm like, here's a billionaire who's a president, and he's behind the line making French fries. And you can see he's never, but he concentrated. He actually, okay, some hot oil here. Let me make sure I make these right, these freedom fries. And we just didn't see him flip them into the bin and salt it. And another cut, you see him at the drive-through window and he's giving them out. If you guys want me to make a video and post it into the forum, I'll go ahead and connect all the different clips. But the biggest clip out there was, I don't know when they released the fact that he was going to be out there doing this, but the streets were packed. I mean, it must have been 10,000 people lining the streets, waiting for him to show up to go into McDonald's and put on the apron and make some French fries. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, does it mean anything? No. The only thing it means is he basically just gave Kamala Harris a full facial. Just completely trolled her. There is no response. You lied. And as you're probably going to hear in the rally tomorrow, he's going to be like, I worked at a McDonald's longer than Kamala did. I'm sure he's going to say that. So let me get ready to give out the prizes here. All right. So, all right. So we're going to give out 4. We're going to give out 4 of them right now. Let's see. So these are for hoodies. Let me drum rollish. Good. Okay. So you can see we're going to give out these hoodies. All right. So the first person to win, boom, Flora Howard. Flora Howard, you have won a free hoodie. Ashley will get a hold of you via email to get your address and the size and all that good stuff. So let's do another one. Oh, I gotta go back here. And I go back here. Joseph Skaggs. Joseph Skaggs, you have won a free hoodie from Fanfare. So you just have to, again, Ashley will be in touch with you to get your mailing address, and we'll get that out. We just got a new shipment in, so they're starting to flow now. They're starting to go out tomorrow and Tuesday, and we're going to order another batch so we have those ready as well. Let's see, got to go back in here, do a live draw, and we're going to hit it again, and boom, James Keyworth. You have a new Trump hoodie. James Keyworth. Expect an email from Ashley soon. Here we go with one more. We're going to do one more here and click the button. Julie Bishop. Julie Bishop, you have won a new hoodie. Thank you all for playing there. That's fantastic. Before we go here, I want to share with you guys the newest Polymarket rankings. And Polymarket, don't want anyone to think I was fudging this, so here's what I'm going to refresh, and boom, Trump is still 21 points ahead of Kamala Harris in Polymarket. Coming down a home stretch here, there's not much she can do, and who knows what they'll do when we get to the election, but it is what it is. So tomorrow, just if you guys want to set your clocks, we'll give out some more hoodies again tomorrow at the end, so you need to come in and then you got to stay. So you just can't enter because I'm not chasing you down. Ashley will send you an email, but you better answer. All right, so tomorrow, 2:30 in the afternoon, Trump is doing an actual rally in Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville, North Carolina. Tomorrow, I go live at 2:30. Then, interesting, at 6 o'clock tomorrow, he has an interesting, they're calling it a meeting. So it's going to be a panel type thing. And it's a faith-based panel. It's with Trump, Eric Trump, and Dr. Ben Carson and others at 6 o'clock. So we got two. That's why I had to take some time off today. We got two events tomorrow for you guys to basically come on in and hang out, win a hoodie, and then Ashley's also going to order some sweatshirts some t-shirts from what I understand. So we're going to do all kinds of good things. And yes, we are still going to get together as well. We're still waiting. Tomorrow I should hear all that data as to when those things will be available. In addition, what was the other thing we were working on? Election night. I've been getting a lot of comments and people emailing me going, "Are you going to do an election night show?" And I feel like I'm on an episode of Punked. You think I'm not doing an election show? Absolutely, we're doing an election show. To what capacity is what I'm going to have to tell you. We got some things we're working on. Hopefully I can confirm that this week as well. But we absolutely will be doing an election show. So let's go ahead and say thank you to the super chatters, and it starts off with Julie. Have you heard if Trump has military protection in the air? Don't know. I know he requested it. Don't know if Biden approved it. Julie, I meant Trump Force One. I understand. Diane, thank you. Shiny Sharon. That's an interesting handle. Thank you very much. RBI Sports. The fake news can't even bear to say that it's legal for Elon to give away money. She could never do this, given that the money they give away is ours, the voters. She could have done it. George Clooney could have given her $5 million, $10 million. They have lots of money on the left. LeBron could have given up $1 or $2 million. She absolutely, but they don't think that way. The problem with the Democrats is they don't think what they can do for you. It's all about what they can do for themselves. We're the government. They don't want to enrich people. So no, they would never would even cross their mind, because you're not supposed to be like us. You're supposed to be the little people. You're not supposed to be rich. They don't want to make people prosper. That's completely the antithesis of their existence. KRO, thank you. Boston Christine, love hanging out with Barry and my fellow patriots. Love to have you here. Thank you very much. T-Mac, thank you, Barry. Thank you, T-Mac. Jerry Early. Big Island, Hawaii for Trump. Mahalo. Yes. My Dolphins without Tua. I don't think with Tua. I think that... never mind. Denise Voorhees, thank you. The Jade Slate. Barry, please Google Republican press briefing on sovereignty. The media won't run it, and it's the most important event in my lifetime. I will check that out. I'll make a copy of that. All right. Alex Sanchez, thank you. Trump owns Kamala. Yeah, absolutely. And Lancaster. White Khadija. Muslims love Jesus. We have no Islam without our sweet Jesus. Please pray upon him. I stand by my Christian American brothers and sisters that they work to be the voice of the unborn. Thank you. Very nice. Very nicely said. Patrick Morgan, the veil of deception has been lifted. Absolutely has. Rainy Day Lady, thanks, Barry. You do a great job. I pray to Jesus Christ, my Savior, that President Trump is our next president. You and me both, baby. Deborah Island Girl from Canada, thank you very much. Bradley Andrews, may the peace of our Lord be with you. Wow, thank you. Thank you very much on this Sunday. Haley, yes, Jesus is Lord. Do your own research. Christ is the true king. Absolutely. Meggie Butler, AJ warned about this for years, and I think it's how they plan to take our First and Second Amendment. They will declare pew-pew violence and hate speech a health emergency and send in goons. I know a lot of people that feel that way. I like I've been saying over and over, I didn't want to go there today because it's Sunday. I wanted to keep it a little bit lighter, let you guys have a good day. But I'll get back to telling you, prepare tomorrow. Big Cat, Freedom Fries, MAGA is... You know, if McDonald's was smart, if McDonald's was really smart, they would come out with the DJT burger, and they could do the McDJT or Freedom Fries and really capitalize on this right now. But they're not going to because they're not smart. I don't know who their corporate structure is, but I'm betting you, we can't piss off too many of the people, but maybe they will be smart. I'm telling you, as bad as that food is for you, if they said, listen, we're going to offer Freedom Fries, and all of the sales from the Freedom Fries are going to go to veterans, they would have lines out the door. You listening, McDonald's? Yeah, make them Freedom Fries and give all the proceeds to veterans, and then watch what happens. I put my marketing hat on real quick there for you. The Jade Slade. If you only knew who they are, what they're up to while we are celebrating our upcoming win. Stay frosty. And Barry, please check the UN. Yeah, they're up to some crazy stuff. Watch your six. Patricia Morris, thank you, Barry, for all you do. And by the way, I've got some information. I spoke to somebody today who actually knows, not through the media, actually is friends with the person who was the manager of the apartment complex that the Tres Leches took over. So I've got some news I'm going to tell you before tomorrow's rally what really happened out there that the media won't tell you. It's good. Mark Colon, the Amish are listening. They will vote. Absolutely. And thank you. Michael Capetta, thank you, Barry. Our family believes the Cunninghams and the Trumps are the superstars of this election. Thank you. I'm going to keep pushing. He's doing 2 tomorrow. That means I got 2 tomorrow. My voice is starting to crack a little bit, but we'll get it done. Margaret Ashbury, thank you. James Wilson, Amish don't like publicity. That's true. They're very camera shy. RB Sports 47, absolutely. Morris Clark. I don't forget the balloon from China that sailed across the U.S. Yeah, remember that? And then when it got all the way across, then they decided to shoot it down. Kim Bush, 90-minute film by Vince Everett Ellison addresses Christians voting Democrat called Will You Go to Hell for Me? Good historical data. I'm going to have to check that out. MAGA Math, take 45 into 2024 and you get 47. Really? I never did that. Intrigue Tech, haven't laughed that much in a while. Super Troll, true to his word. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Barry, for what you do. Thank you for watching. Yes, that was an epic Super Troll. I mean, it just pissed her off, something awful. And I've been hearing, maybe you guys have seen some of the same reports, but people are saying at this point that there's a lot of rumbling going on in her camp. So, some of the people are actually, freaking out. Oh, I did want to cover one more thing before we left here. All right, so all these people are freaking out because of what Elon Musk is doing. And I saw this post, it was also reposted, retweeted, however you want to call it, by Elon Musk. And it was this post here. It says, to people who exist in 90% liberal environments, which is basically journalists, professors, and other residents of Brooklyn, New York, and Cambridge, and most college campuses, a 50-50 ability to share opinions feels like it's deeply unfair. The fact that you get to talk and the fact that I get to talk is really pissing these people off. Because before, all the way back in 2020, they controlled the network. They controlled what people said. And now they're freaking it out. I mean, completely freaking out. This was by, okay, I'm going to have to pull this down so I can move it over. Because this is interesting for you to see. Where is it? All right. Elon Musk is now accused. Elon Musk accused Twitter's leadership of tipping the scales politically, but now he's doing just that with X. No, he's allowing us to talk. Back when Twitter did it, they shut us all up and they kicked us off the platform and they didn't allow conservatives to even speak. They don't want you to have a voice. The fact that you can even talk at this point, and now that Elon Musk is actually talking himself, is driving them crazy. You shouldn't be allowed to give your opinion. They don't like it. And so now they think he's tipping the scales, when what in actuality he's done is made it equal. I don't care if people out there on the left are spewing crap. I just don't listen to them. If they say something to me, boom, I block it. But they don't want you to talk at all. And they get echoed by people like this. It's like, no kidding. Yeah, it sucks. Get over it. Get over it. You had it your way for so long. 2024 is the year of X, where we all can talk freely, where we can't talk here the way we want to. We can talk there. We can share stuff there. We can basically coalesce around an idea and make things happen. We can tag each other. We can make sure people, stay focused on what's going on. And we didn't have that in 2020. So some of you guys who are fearful and wonder, what are we going to do about this? And are they going to do this or going to do that? Remember, in 2020, we were in a vacuum. We couldn't even complain if somebody saw something. There was no possible way for us to get it out there. And now Elon, which I can't post here, he posted a video and said, if you see something, if you take a picture, if you record something, post it on X so he can amplify it. We didn't have that in 2020. We couldn't even speak. I had thousands of people I was following just got gone, blasted into the ether. I myself booted off of Facebook. Facebook just said, go away. Robin booted off of Twitter. Old Twitter. She's back on now. And I could just go through literally 1,000 people that we used to converse with just went away. They made the President of the United States go away. So if somebody says to me, how is it going to be different this year? I just told you the difference. There are hundreds and thousands of patriots on X where there's no filter, where people can't stop us from talking. If you see something, you say something. And if it's really bad, Elon's putting together a task force to amplify those bad things in case they, they're observed. Amish are being regulated horrendously by the government on their food products. Yeah, exactly. Just showing that conservatives are in the majority. That's all. Whereas 2020, most likely there was some, yet we are moving forward now without fear of being shut down. That terrifies them. That actually drives them crazy that you and I are able to talk about things freely without worrying about being, shut down or anything. I stayed in Facebook jail for about 3 years till Congress got involved. Wow. They won't even talk to me. McDonald's said she wasn't qualified to make a Happy Meal. What's this woman? Robin's, this not my Robin, but another Robin says she was booted off of Facebook and Twitter back in 2020. So these are people who are telling you their experiences. I'm telling you my experiences. So when you get upset and you feel like this is going to happen or it's happening again, notice how quickly, when we all heard what happened in Michigan or this past week, or we heard what happened in Georgia, how fast that spread, how fast it got out there. And then everybody started talking about it, which means I'm sure Laura Trump and that team began looking very quickly as, hey, what's going on? So you have the opportunity at this point, as I've been telling you, I will continue to tell you, you are now the media. If you see something, post it. You take a picture of something, post it. You see something that needs to be elevated and people need to take a look at it, tag me. I'll push it out there. Tag Benny Johnson. Tag Laura Trump. They've got teams of people who are looking at things and filtering. And don't for an instant think your voice doesn't matter. Because the reason it matters is because you can reach out personally to so many people. You're not alone. Just imagine that right now. You see something in your precinct where you're getting ready to go vote. And all you've got to do is begin, hey, Laura, hey, so-and-so, hey, Dan Bongino, hey, and just send it to everybody. Look at what happened here. Somebody's going to look at that. They may not respond to you. I mean, I can't even respond to everybody. You guys are, and I thank you. You guys are amazing in terms of how much content and what you guys are even putting up in the community. So I love that. So I can't possibly respond to all that. I wouldn't even have any time to do it. And we've got mods that are helping out as well. So these guys with millions of followers, I think Benny's got 2 million. I think Laura Trump probably has 1 million. They're not going to read, they're not going to respond to everything, but if something catches them, they'll pick it up. And here's something, every day now I'm going to give you guys a Twitter tip, X-Twist tip. It's important for you to understand the lifespan of an X post. You see, on YouTube, I'll make a video, the video sits there, somebody can watch it a week from now, they can search it on Google and get the term. The lifespan of an X post, it means, how fast is it moving in the feed? And a lot of people won't tell you this. The lifespan of an X post is about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, it's stale milk. So that's why you see people like Jack Posobiec and other people, they'll tweet the same thing over and over, like an hour later. You may see it get pushed back up to the top. Because let me just double check that, because he may have changed that, but I want you to know that. Lifespan of X post. Let me just double check that. Okay, it's a little bit better. Not much. Since he's taken over, the lifespan of a post on X is now 43 minutes. It used to be 20 minutes when it was Twitter. So where the heck did that go? Okay, here we go. All right, so you can see it. So the average lifespan of a post on X is 43 minutes. This is shorter than the average lifespan of posts on other social media platforms, which can range from 19 hours to 3 to 7 months. So you got 40 minutes. So that's why you're seeing people bump stuff up. If you post something and like, oh, well, I posted something today, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. By the time you make that coffee and drink that coffee, your post is done. It's gone. No one's ever going to see it. Unless they search specifically for what you put up there. So remember that. As you're posting stuff, keep posting. Hit repost. Put it back up there. 43 minutes is not a long time the way news breaks on X. So I hope that is something you guys can basically digest and take that in your X journey. People ask me all the time about tutorials. I think if I do them this way, they're a lot easier to digest than putting in, an hour-long video. So that's your Twitter X tutorial for today. Your post lasts about 45 minutes. That's it. That's it. Bump it up. Eric Park says, I've been hearing so much from you guys. I'm like, I love X. I mean, it's crazy. And there's so much. There's so much that you would normally not see. It's crazy. I agree. I want to keep posting about the hurricane victims and the Kamala telling Jesus at the wrong route. Yeah. Keep pushing it up there. Let people see it. It will. Trust me. It goes like this. When I'm scrolling on mine, I will see people bump it back up to the top. I mean, you probably get emails where people say, "Hey, Barry, I'm bumping this back up to you," because they know your emails. It's the same thing on X. 1 minute I was tweeting with Jack and Ozzy, and the next thing you know, I was kicked off in 2016. Yep. I believe you. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Just telling you. But doesn't, okay, here's a question. Where'd that go? But doesn't post get reposted or quoted by others extend their lifetime? Yeah, if you get reposted, if somebody looks at yours and reposts it, yeah, it pops it back up, but it's not your post anymore. You see you understand the difference? If you post something, boom, it's out there. And if I like it and hit repost, it is now my post. You're not getting the credit for it anymore. Which means your original post that I reboosted is not getting the same boost. So you need to keep going. It'll get more impressions, because the more impressions that, if I push it out or somebody big pushes it out, it'll get more impressions. So you need to keep pushing. I pretty much only post to your Fanfare Patriots page. That's fine. That's absolutely fine, because there's nearly 5,000 people in that group. Let me just put that up too, in case you guys haven't seen that lately. I forgot to push that today. So if you want to join our private, secure, and what I mean by that, there's no trolls. We vet everybody. I made this graphic when we had 4,000. We were rapidly approaching 5,000 people in our private group. You can just go ahead, get on X, and join it. So what you're seeing there says now we're nearly at 5,000 people. So if you post something and somebody inside, even if it's inside the group, and they decide to repost it to a larger audience, yeah, it still works. So if you're comfortable and like you don't want to deal with trolls and idiots saying something to you, just post in the safety of there. Yeah, they're FAFO. They're mad because we're not as divided as we were 4 years ago. We can have dialogue now. Absolutely. And it's funny because you never know who's seeing it. What am I doing? I mean, free speech. SB says as of right now there are 4,869 people in the group. Okay, that'd be good. All right, I'll be watching it after this live video. Okay, I was thrown off. Catherine says she was thrown off. She was exiled on January 7th, 2021. Then I tried to cancel my account and they wouldn't let me, only to keep my own numbers from going down. Yeah, it was awful. It was literally the purge. They just get rid of all you MAGA conservative people. We don't even want you to be able to talk. We don't want to hear what you have to say. And it was kind of scary. I mean, we all had to pull back and go, really? We can't even talk about things? If you think it's bad here when I say certain words, you couldn't do it over there either. If you posted the wrong, especially during the jabademic, if you had a problem with the jabademic and you said something that the people watching didn't want you talking about the jabademic, oh, you were instantly gone. Just go away. That ain't happening now. So let's do it. Yeah, Facebook. Facebook seems like people there never left the third grade. Yeah, they're pretty much Kamala, white dudes for Harris. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for the super chats. We got 2 tomorrow. Doubleheader. We're playing 2. 2:30 and what time's the other one? 2:30 and 6 o'clock p.m. Big day tomorrow, too. We got a actual rally in Greenville, and then a faith leadership panel in Concord, North Carolina at 6 p.m. with Dr. Ben Carson and Eric Trump and probably some other dignitaries. So all you guys, thank you. Have a great Sunday evening. Go eat dinner. Check out, if you go on X, there's all kinds of videos about Trump basically being out there and everything he did. She's got nothing to say about it. And then you got the other part, the media out there screaming because Elon Musk is giving away $1 million a day. And what I found most interesting about today is how little the Sunday morning talk shows had to say about anything. I mean, usually on Sunday mornings, there are so many clips I can get a hold of where I'm like, oh, let me post this, let me see. They weren't out there as much. They were very boring shows. At this point, they know they've got to regroup because the only thing Kamala is saying, she's got two messages. One message, you guys should have as much baby removal as possible. And the other message is, Trump's unfit, he's unstable, and he was talking about Arnold Palmer's weenie. And I saw one guy from CNN, and I had to call the dude out. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you've ever played ball. I don't know if you've ever been in the locker room in a team situation. But boys are going to be boys. I mean, you act like such a prude. Boys, are, from the time you're in grade school and until the time you're in the pros and you're in a locker room and guys are farting on each other and doing all other kind of stuff. I ain't going to gross out the ladies right now, but we did a lot of stupid stuff when we were in the locker room. The least of which was looking at another guy's schlanger. If that's all guys did in a locker room, it would be a great place. That's the least of things. You don't even know what goes on in some of those locker rooms from the time you're in high school all the way to the time people are playing pros. And if that bothered you, that Trump was talking about Arnold Palmer's weenie, then it's just so much how much of a cuck you really are. I mean, who are you posturing for? The white dudes from Harris? Some narrow-minded person in your CNN office? Really? Or did maybe you just never undressed in front of other men before? Maybe you don't know what it's like to just be walking around bare-assed in front of a bunch of guys. Getting popped with a towel and all kinds of stuff. Getting stuffed in a locker. No, I didn't get stuffed in a locker. I stuffed some people in lockers. I didn't get stuffed in a locker. I couldn't get in a locker. All kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, some of you guys who went to college know exactly what I'm talking about goes in the locker room. So spare me with the virtue and the, propriety. Oh my God, he talked about somebody's weenie. Shut up. That's all I got to say about that. Just shut up. What did somebody say? My school, what? Raymond says in my school the women were just as bad. See, I wasn't going to go there, Raymond. I wasn't going to drop dime on the women because just saying, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Cass is like, oh dear Lord, yeah, her son, my grandson, is right about that age. Okay, he's 15 and he's playing football and he's in a locker room with 50, 60, 70 guys. All right, so I'm sure if he heard what Trump said yesterday about Arnold Palmer, he just laughed. Because we don't got no sense. I mean, literally, we have no sense. We're guys. I think people forget what a guy is. See, that's the problem. The liberal nuts don't understand what a man is and that the testosterone level makes you do stupid stuff. I will admit it. I'll be the first one to admit it. You get challenged in a locker room, might as well be in the Gladiator in the Coliseum in Rome. You want me to do what? See if I can do. I ain't even going to tell you. I'm not even going to go there. Oh God, it's too funny. I'm so sick of weak people going, oh my God, clutch my pearls. I posted just in passing. I posted something yesterday about the roast. Because that was another thing. When he was at the Catholic dinner and he was telling jokes. And they're like, oh my God, he mocked this and he did that and it was awful. And I'm like, so I posted And if you guys ever see it, I think I put it in the forum, I'm not sure. But I posted a roast where Don Rickles was absolutely just tearing apart Red Fox and Nipsey Russell and a bunch of other black guys and some of the stuff, and black women. The Wheezy from Good Times was on there, and he just shredded them. Because that's what you did back then. You know, we could laugh. We had comedy. We actually would have a ability to look at something and go, that's funny. And still understand it was comedy, not real life. And that's what these people can't separate. They get offended because they don't understand that you can actually joke about things that are sensitive, because sometimes you have to laugh at things that are sensitive in order to help you heal from that shit. It's the best medicine we have is comedy, and you want to take it away from us. That can't happen. That can't happen. We got to vote these people out into oblivion. Talk to you guys tomorrow at 2:30. Thanks for tuning in.